BBC Radio Gloucestershire. But first off, we've been enjoying their music for 4 decades, but a new book presents Queen in a way you've never experienced before. Queen in 3D, a collection of personal photographs and recollections by Brian May. The legendary guitarist appeared at the Cheltenham Literature Festival, complete with his specially created 3D viewers. Our festival reporter Joe Durrant had a chat with Brian, who explained that the book is unique for several reasons.
It is, I guess, because, well, for a number of reasons. It's the first 3D book on Queen. It's also the first book written by a member of the band. And I think it's the first book written by the member of any band with a text which is accompanied by photos that they took themselves. But the stereo is the important thing. The 3D part is the most important thing. I think because, to me, it's the most evocative way of chronicling an event or a time or a scenario. And I've always been passionate about it. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought, why do people take flat pictures if they can take 3D pictures in depth? And so much more is captured. You feel like you're really in a time machine when you look at these pictures.
You do. It's a beautiful book. I've been having a look through it, and you look through the owl viewer that you've created, and you really feel that you're there at a concert. And that's obviously what you wanted to evoke.
Yeah, I'm glad you say that. Yeah, I feel, it's something I always wanted to share ever since I was a kid. When I made some money eventually, I was able to buy some Victorian 3D pictures, and to me it's an incredible rush to see this stuff. In the case of Victorian pictures, you're transported back to the 1850s, and it's like you're there at the Crystal Palace or whatever, and I was so thrilled with this. And then I started to take 3D pictures of my friends with stereo cameras. And actually, you can do it on an iPhone. I can tell you how to do that later if you like. It's very easy. It's really easy. But then I thought, how do I share this? How can I actually get this out there? Because everybody I showed it went, wow, can I have one? Can I do this? Well, now I can. Now we have an owl, which I invented, I feel like. I designed. I didn't invent the stereoscope, but I invented this one. And it's made in Sunbury-upon-Thames, and it gives you all the thrills of real Victorian 3D. So now I can take a picture of someone, I can give them an owl, and I can bring it up on their phone, and instantly they can see themselves in 3D. So to me, it's a way of life. I love everything to do with 3D. It's become a passion. I have a lot of passions, I'll admit, but this is something which has stayed with me for a very long time.
And in writing the book and going back through the photographs, it must have evoked so many memories for you.
Yeah, that was the big thing. It surprised even me, really. I thought, well, this is great stuff, and if I'm going to do a book, I want it to be a 3D book. But when we assembled all the pictures that were going to be in it, I was surprised, firstly, how many there were. I didn't realise I'd been so consistent in getting the 3D camera out when we were on the road, in dressing rooms, cars, boats, planes, or whatever. But then what we did was digitise them all and put them on a screen in 3D. And we had a session, or a few sessions actually, where I just sat there and we projected them one after the other, and I spouted into a machine, something like you've got there, And it was astonishing what came out. I couldn't believe how much I could remember, because my memory's not that great. If you ask me what I did in 1964, I'll be scratching my head, But show me a picture in 3D, and I can walk through that frame, that window, and I'm there. So I could remember the people's names, I could remember where we were, what we were doing. And then the most amazing thing was I could remember how I felt at that time, so I could do a kind of emotional journey as well. So the book became much more than I expected it would be. It's 3D, but it's kind of multi-dimensional, because it's a kind of... I'm not going to say it's an autobiography, it's a kind of biography of Queen and myself.
I guess it is like going back in a time machine, isn't it?
It is, and people are astonished when they look in the book, I must say. I get a lot of wows, which is what I like. They look at the pictures full frame. I'm going to take the book out now. We're on radio, I know, but you can imagine me taking this beautiful book out of its cover. The cover has a lenticular 3D picture of Freddie on the front, which is another whole story, but it kind of sets the tone for the book. But you open up the book and there's a text which you can read, which is very personal from me, and very often if you open it up at a double page, you'll see a large picture on the left-hand side, which is the blow-up of the picture. That's the way we're looking, that's the way we're used to looking through books. But then on the other page, you've got a pair of pictures which are designed to be viewed in the stereoscope. You put your stereoscope over the top, and you can focus it as well with your thumbs. But then the experience you get is something completely different. So I'm just about to do this to you.
And it's like Freddie's jumping up out of the screen, and I am there right now at that concert.
You feel that, don't you? Yeah, I mean, I just love that, you know, to me. Now, I didn't take that picture because I was on stage at the time, but what I would do is give the stereo camera to somebody I trusted, and if I was lucky, it was someone who could actually handle a camera, and I would get some pictures back like that at the end of the night. So this is Freddie in his full prime, you know, and you can see every vein, you can see every bead of sweat, and the light show as it was at the time. So to me it's great. And the on-stage pictures are exciting, but in a way the off-stage ones are even more exciting because it's something you've never seen. And it's intimate in a way which no photographer as such would have been able to capture, because everyone was used to me having a camera. In fact, we all had cameras, and we were all snapping away at each other. Freddie famously had his Polaroid camera, and he used to take pictures of everyone, and give his pictures away. I mean, Freddie had a very generous nature, so normally he would snap, and, here you go, there you go, darling, here's your picture. And I'd love to know where some of those pictures are now. I mean, there's a 3D picture in here of Freddie taking a picture of me. So I have the 3D picture. Somebody must have the Polaroid that he took of me. I don't think I do, sadly. I wonder where it ended up. You never know, it might turn up someday.
And you obviously here at Cheltenham and getting to share your passion, which I know your 3D passion is 3D photography passion is huge. It must be lovely to be back in Cheltenham and sharing that with the audience.
It is nice. It's actually pretty exciting. You know, people say to me, "Oh, you know, you play to tens of thousands of people. This is nothing." But actually, it kind of makes me nervous because it's very intimate. I don't have a guitar to make a big noise with. I don't have, you know, sound and lights and stuff. It's just me, and well, my secret weapon is the fact that I can project in 3D, and that's what people like. So I feel that kind of stops me being terrified because I know I can just show a 3D picture on the screen and people go, wow, because they don't expect to have that experience.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise playing in the...
Wonderful. Queen on BBC Radio Gloucestershire, and Joe Durrant having a good old chat with Brian May.